Cubaan suara, cubaan. Percubaan suara, check mic 1 2 3. Cobaan suara, check mic 1 2 3. Cobaan suara, check mic 1 2 3 1 2 3, check. Percubaan suara, check mic 1 2 3 1 2 3, check.
event ni. Lepas tu dengan event 30 hari bulan, patutnya saya pergi Sabah je. Ada Asian apa benda tak carries cavity free gitu. Conference lah macam pasal. Nak mari je. Saya tak bawa ni lah. Okey ke rambut? Okey tak? Satu lagi lah kalau untuk Ania saya tu lah.
Cubaan suara 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, saya kena scan juga? You need permission? Kena ada permission ke? Foto tu mana? Still lah kak. Need permission juga. Kan? Need permission kan? Macam mana team registration? You all kena permission tak? Dah, dua-dua. Tak boleh juga. Oh, dah online.
Bos.
je ni cantik perubahan dia dah tahu dia akan continue. Oh ya, ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ah, ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your presence here today. Our ceremony will begin shortly. Please be seated and make yourselves comfortable. Allow me to go through some housekeeping rules. Firstly, please switch off or kindly set your mobile phones to silent mode. If you wish to use the restroom or leave the hall, you may use the nearest exits located at the sides of the hall, or you may ask any event committee members for assistance. Lastly, our honorable guest will be announced to enter the hall. Please stand up and remain standing for the singing of the Negaraku and the University Malaya anthem. Your cooperation is very much appreciated, and we hope today's event will leave a mark on the hearts of everyone here. Thank you for your attention. Attention to all students and our beloved lecturers. We will really appreciate it if you can fill up the seats in front first. Is it possible for you to move and fill up the seats in front? Thank you.
Ramai sebab mesti luar datang kan.
Kena tanya macam Yang dekat Univers One. Dia tu yang grade 2.
Oh.
Dia yang
Kan?
tiga-tiga.
Dia buat habis tu kena. Sebab saya tak orang saya kena Zul je. Sebab Zul ni ikut program saya dulu. Saya kenal, bukanlah kenal saya. Dia lah muka dia. Sebab dia join camp kita orang kan. Yang lain, dia tak kenal. Kalau dia, oh tak kenal lah.
Satu roll.
Hah? Dah sampai? Terus cakap ni je lah. Terus cakap yang masih kat bawah lagi. Enggak belum. Hujan ni. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Our ceremony will begin shortly, but before we proceed, here are a few gentle reminders. Firstly, please switch off or kindly set your mobile phone to a silent mode. Lastly, when honorable guest is announced to enter the hall, all are requested to stand up and remain standing for the singing of Negaraku and the University Malaya anthem. Your cooperation is much appreciated, and we hope that you will enjoy this event. Thank you for your attention. Bahaya ke? Kita track juga. Oh, tak ada. Tak ada masa. Action. Ambil gambar. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of our honorable guests.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of Negaraku and the Universiti Malaya anthem.
Universiti Malaya, kebanggaan kita semua. Bertambah para ilmuwan di berbagai lapangan. Kami bertekad di hati mencapai kita bumi. Tradisi kecemerlangan menepati wawasan. Di sini kami sedia berbakti terus berinovasi. Kami harapkan generasi muda terus nusa dan bangsa. Varsity kesayanganku, sungguh banyak jasamu membentuk insan mulia, berilmu berbudaya. Di sini kami sedia berbakti terus berinovasi. Kami harapkan generasi muda teras nusa dan bangsa. Varsity kesayanganku, sungguh banyak jasamu membentuk insan mulia, berilmu berbudaya.
Thank you, everyone. You may now take your seat. To begin the ceremony with the blessing of Lord, we would like to invite Mr. Rosli bin Bidin to lead the prayer recitation. For non-Muslim, please observe a moment of silence.
الفاتحة. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Ya Allah, ya Rahman, ya Rahim. Sesungguhnya kami berhimpun pada hari ini bagi melahirkan rasa kesyukuran di atas kurniaan-Mu yang tidak ternilai untuk majlis pelancaran buku akademik Fakulti Pergigian bagi tahun 2023, anjuran Fakulti Pergigian Universiti Malaya. Ya Fattahu ya Alim, Jadikanlah kami hamba-hamba-Mu yang sentiasa bersyukur di atas nikmat yang melimpah ruah kepada kami. Sesungguhnya Engkau Maha mengetahui bahawa kami di sini ingin menimba ilmu yang sangat luas bagi mengembangkan potensi kami sebagai hamba-Mu yang Engkau redai. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram. Justru itu, berkati dan rahmatilah perhimpunan kami ini dan kurniakanlah kepada kami ilmu-ilmu yang bermanfaat. Sinarilah juga hati-hati kami dengan cahaya dan hidayah-Mu. Semoga dengannya kami mudah menerima dan menghayati serta mengamalkannya. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami juga ingin memohon agar diberikan perlindungan serta keselamatan kepada saudara-saudara kami yang kini berada di Gaza, Palestin, serta memudahkan urusan mereka buat mereka yang telah gugur. Mudah-mudahan dikurniakan pahala syahid buat mereka. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzaban nar wa adkhil jannata ma'al abrar. Ya Aziz, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Mr. Rosli, for the prayer. May our event run smoothly and be blessed by the Lord, the Almighty.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon we bid to Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan Datuk Seri Hajah Dr. Aisyah Ong, Pro-Chancellor Universiti Malaya, Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Zamri bin Radzi, Dean of Faculty of Dentistry, Universiti Malaya, respectable Deputy Deans, Head of Departments, Associate Deans, lecturers, staffs, and all the students who are present in this hall today.
Welcome to the Book Launch Ceremony 2023.
My name is Alia Amani binti Abdul Aziz. I am a fourth year undergraduate dental student.
And I am Dr. Muhammad Hamidi bin Sa'ari. I'm a second year postgraduate student in Doctor of Dental Public Health. And we will be your MC for today. Ladies and gentlemen, our faculty is very lucky to have a various talented academician who dedicated their time and effort in doing research, writing, and publishing. This program is conducted to appreciate and celebrate the success of our academician and to encourage as well as to inspire more people to involve themselves in this field.
In conjunction with this year's Academia Month, we are delighted to be announcing the launching of two books written by our beloved professors, Yang Berusaha, Professor Dr. Tarikur Rahman, Yang Berusaha, Professor W.M. Tilakaratne, and Yang Berusaha, Professor Dr. Thomas George Kalarakal. Dear professors, we are very honored and proud to have you here. Now, let us continue today's event by inviting our beloved Dean to give his opening remarks. Please welcome Professor Dr. Zamri bin Radzi.
Thank you very much our MCs. Thank you very much. Yang dimuliakan, yang amat berbahagia, Tuan Puan Datuk Seri Hajah Dr. Aisyah Ong, Pro-Chancellor Universiti Malaya. Thank you very much Tuan Puan, yang amat berbahagia Tuan Puan, for being here today. Your presence meant a lot to us. And thank you for all the support given to us. Yang dimuliakan timbalan-timbalan dekan, deputy deans, head of departments, head of disciplines, professors, associate professors, academicians, guests of honor, our postgraduate residents and our undergraduate students, as well as yang diraikan the editors of the books. Professor Dr. Tilaka Ratne, Professor Dr. Thomas George, Professor Dr. Tarikur Rahman, and all the contributors to the chapters. Thank you very much for being here today, this afternoon. Yang amat berbahagia Tuh Puan and everyone here today. This afternoon is very special because it marks the end of the Academia Month. We started the Academia Month this year with the joint effort, the Faculty of Medicine, when we both entity of the Health, Faculty of Dentistry, Faculty of Pharmacy, University Malaya Medical Center, University Malaya Specialist Center join hands with the Faculty of Medicine to hold the Academia Week and the Research Carnival from 2nd to the 6th of October. That marks the celebration of the Academia Day on the 5th of October. And that was since 1994 that the UNICEF started the UNESCO started the effort to appreciate all the academicians and the teachers. And our country is one of the earliest one to declare October as the national month for the academician and for all the teachers. And we really appreciate all the effort made by our government. Ladies and gentlemen, today is very special for various reasons. Today also is the day that we end the Academia Month, as well as the day that we appreciate all the effort made by our academicians to produce the scholarly work. The book is something that is a signature of the scholarly work. Let us trace back to the day when the faculty began. We are here today at the auditorium of IBRAHIM YASSIN. IBRAHIM YASSIN, the late Professor Dr. IBRAHIM YASSIN, is our founding dean and is the person who started the effort to start the work on the glossary atau glossary pergigian. The joint effort made with the Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka at the time to produce the glossary, and it took several years. And from there on, many of our academicians published the books, either printed by the respective departments or by the Press or by the Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka. So that was, if we look at the list, we can see long list. And Prof. Hayati here today can tell us how she started the book on the Asas Prosthodontic that was published and translated from the famous Schillingberg. And so there are many more. The effort continued when many of our academicians started to publish in the international published books. One of the example is here, the oral candidosis published by Wright and later bought by Butterworth Henneman and now bought by the Elsevier. And this is one of the book written by Lakshman Samanarayake, and one of the chapter here written by our oral pathology professor, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Hashim Yaakob. And to continue the legacy of that oral pathology, today we see another book, Clinical Pathological Correlation of Oral Disease, in the same oral pathology field. So that is something that being produced by the top-notch professor that are here today. And we congratulate you all three for all the effort made. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Tilaka Ratne also produced the books published by the WHO on the classification of oral diseases. And that book now became the reference for most institutions, research center, with regards to the oral cancer and oral diseases. And Professor Tarikur Rahman also produced many chapters in a well-known books published by various publishers. What makes this very special today is the book published by the top-notch publisher, Springer, based in Germany. That thick volume that you see here, they're all contributed by the academician from this faculty. Shall we give a big round of applause to all of them who are here today? And the book on immunology for dentistry, published by Wiley Blackwell, earlier on was known as Munsgat, bought over by Wiley, and later by Blackwell, based in Broad Street, Oxford, and now is one of the top publishers in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not easy to get a book published by top-notch publisher. It went through stringent process. The book is vetted by a committee, and only after several committees, then the publisher agree to publish. And from there on, the editors work very hard to ensure that the standard of the books is of higher standard. And we see the fruits today. And very soon you will see the name of your professors, the books written by your professors at various libraries, not only in our country, not only the region, but throughout the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take this opportunity also to share with you some of the other work done by our academic staff. This is an example of the book written in the Orang Asli or Orang Kelabit and many other indigenous language, also published by our academician. And recently, another book written in the Braille form. If you see, this is for oral health for the blind, and written together with the Malaysian Association for the Blind, and is now gazetted as one of the very special book by the Malaysian Books of Record. Ladies and gentlemen, this rostrum cannot hold too many books. It is too heavy that I need to put it at the behind this wall. But trust me, behind this, a lot more piles of the books written by our dons here that I would like to show here, but I'm worried that this very expensive rostrum will be breaking to pieces. So ladies and gentlemen, we like to take this opportunity to thank our Pro-Chancellor for every event by the dental faculty, every effort made by the dental faculty, always supported by her. Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia Tuan Puan. We cannot thank you enough. We are so happy to see you. Every time we see you smiling, we want to do a lot more things for the faculty and for the university. Thank you very much for all the encouragement, all the words of encouragement given to us. We really appreciate each of them. Thank you once again. Thank you Yang Berbahagia, Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan, and thank you everyone for being here. And thank you all the academicians of the faculty carrying our dental faculty flags high and the UM flag. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Zamri bin Radzi, for the warm and inspiring speech.
Next, we would like to invite Yang Berusaha, Professor Dr. W.M. Tilakaratne, to give us a brief and informative insight into his new book entitled Clinical Pathological Correlation of Oral Diseases. Dear Professor, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Pro-Chancellor Tuan Puan Dato Sri Dr. Aisyah Ong, Dean Faculty of Dentistry Professor Zamri Radzi, Deputy Deans, Heads of Departments, Associate Deans, members of the academic staff, more importantly, our hardworking supporting staff, students, both undergraduate and postgraduate, ladies and gentlemen. I think today is a remarkable day. I'm so happy to stand here before this august audience on a historic day to the Faculty of Dentistry, University Malaya. As the Dean said, producing internationally acclaimed books is not an easy task. First, before talking anything else, let me thank all our scholars who have contributed immensely to make this a success and a reality. So when I got the idea of producing a book while I'm here, then I realized editing a book on my own in a country where I am not very much used to is not an easy task. So I want to find a co-editor who is capable of doing it. I think I got the best person to do that in Professor Thomas George Kalarakkal. So when we decided to do this exercise, we had some objectives or aims in our mind. I had 3 of them actually. One is to bring some academic recognition to the Faculty of Dentistry and University of Malaya in general from the rest of the world. As the Dean correctly said, this book will be used around the globe. So therefore, I'm sure that will give us some recognition to our faculty here at University of Malaya. If you look at, in reality, the large majority of the books that our students use, our postgraduate and undergraduate students use, are not written by people from this part of the world. Most of them are written by either Europe or in Americas, the authors from those countries. But we appreciate them. Yes, they have contributed a lot to the scientific medical dental literature. But it's also important for us to produce scholarly work from this part of the world, especially from Asia. We know Asians, how well they do in the West and in Americas. They're the cream. But being in this part of the world and producing something scholarly, I think it is worth. Because if you look at the textbooks that you use, we not only know the authors, invariably when you look at who the author is, you look at what the affiliation is. So thereby, those academic institutions get an enormous visibility, academic recognition. So it enhances every aspect of their institutions. So that is lacking to some extent in Asia. I'm sure this kind of exercises would enhance that aspect of scholarly work. So my second objective of producing a book was to give opportunity for young staff members. Faculty of Dentistry, University of Malaya is full of young academics. I think the academics of our age, I think I am the oldest academic in the faculty, but we have a whole bunch of very young, blooming academics. So I thought we should guide them, we should give them some exposure as to how they can contribute to international literature by contributing a book. Being an academician or academic is not just teaching, not just doing clinical works, not just doing research, but one of the most important aspects of your academic life should be to disseminate knowledge that you have imparted from various sources to the rest of the world. I'm happy in that sense. With this exercise, most of our young staff members, I think, have done that. So that is, I think, a great achievement. The third objective was we wanted to produce something for the landmark anniversary, 50th anniversary of the Faculty of Dentistry, University Malaya. That was our target, to produce this book early in end of 21, but due to various reasons we could not do that. But in the preface of the book, we have mentioned that this is part of the academic work that we carried out to celebrate the 50th anniversary of University Malaya. Is this another textbook? But you get textbooks every single day from local publishers, from international publishers, etc. Then is it significant? The answer to that is, this is not just another textbook. This is a textbook with completely different innovative approach. I'm sure most of the staff members and some of the students at least must have read Clinical Problem Solving in Dentistry book written by my dear friend Eddie Odell. That we have contributed to that book 25 years back. So that book is, I think, translated into 6 languages, and it is considered as the Bible of dentistry for those who sit for qualifying exams in the developing world. Developed world, in especially UK, Canada, USA, etc. What is the relationship of that to this book? Well, because we were instrumental in producing that book, we went few steps further to improve the format of that book when it comes to our clinico-pathological correlation of oral diseases. So we tried to demonstrate, when a patient walks into your clinic and on your dental chair, from that point up to the follow-up and the prognosis of that particular disease is covered in this book. From history taking, just not history taking in the sentences, all the relevant questions that the clinician or the student should ask from the patient in detail is listed there for every single entity. And this is not a book of various titles, this is a book of clinical problems. 66 different clinical problems are included, as many as possible that we see in day-to-day practice. And after history taking, after lengthy history taking, we have the section called what is your differential diagnosis after history taking. True, not all the diseases we can come up with a differential just after the history, but most of them we can. So that is one exercise. Then we ask, what is your approach to arrive at the definitive diagnosis? Then you have the examination of the clinical examination findings, intraoral, extraoral, etc. And then we ask, what are the investigations to support these clinical findings? And then we get a working diagnosis. Then we ask the question, what is the working diagnosis? Then finally, after everything is done, after all the special investigations, etc., we ask, what is your definitive diagnosis? Then you have the definitive diagnosis. And then we go on to ask various other things, how you treat, the management, what the prognosis, what the recurrence, all kinds of things that are important for a given disease. In addition to that, more importantly, we have in a table the salient features of that particular disease. In addition to a general description of the disease, we have salient features, the important features at a glance that you can grasp them. So that is another very, very specific feature for this book. Not only that, then every single chapter has a diagnostic algorithm. Without going through the whole chapter, by looking at the diagnostic algorithm, you can draw up the diagnosis without any problem, with some innovative thinking. So at last, we have a section on self-assessment questions. So it covers almost everything. So I'm sure this book will be very popular around the globe. Already we can see on the web, almost 8,000 accesses, means the people have bought at least chapters and book. This is only 2 months. So that tells us, so this book will be as probably famous as our first book, The Clinical Problem Solving in Dentistry. So that is why this book, I said, is not just another textbook. So therefore, by looking at this now, my younger colleagues who are here in the audience who contributed, now should not stop you at that point. I told you what the attributes of a true academic person is. So therefore, taking this as an example or stimulator or initiator, now you have to take the baton forward. You have to take the torch forward. So you will be having your juniors in a few years to come. So you should, it is your responsibility to groom them. Unless otherwise we groom our younger generation, we don't have a future. Unfortunately, that is not happening from every single academic in any country. So if you are a true academic, I think that is the attribute you have to inculcate within you. Try to produce your juniors the best in the world. I think this kind of exercise will give some encouragement for your juniors as to how they should be working. So that was our ambition. I'm sure with the hardworking contributors and our co-editor, I think we have done this task successfully. I'm ever thankful to all the people who have contributed in some way to make this book a reality. Finally, let me thank the Pro-Chancellor for honoring this occasion, and also the Dean, Faculty of Dentistry, Prof. Zamri Radzi, is always behind any academic endeavor by any staff. So I think I can tell you, you don't get this kind of enthusiastic deans in most places, right? So you are lucky to have a dean like Prof. Zamri. And also I'm failing in my duty if I do not thank the person who wrote the foreword of the book, the Professor Saman Varnakulu Surya, who was my teacher also briefly back in Sri Lanka, the Emeritus Professor of King's College, London. So with whom we wrote our last textbook before this, Oral Medicine and Oral Pathology Guide to Diagnosis and Management. So I think he should get a big thank because he has elaborated what is there in the book. When it comes from a person of his caliber, I think people recognize this as a good book. Once again, let me thank our co-editor and also our contributors. And more importantly, I have witnessed the enthusiasm and the hard work put in to make this event a success by our supporting staff. I think big hand of applause should be given to our supporting staff. So with that, thank you very much. I hope you all will have a good, wonderful afternoon. Let me invite for a few minutes to the podium my co-editor, Professor Thomas George, to share his experience during the work.
Thank you, Prof. Tilak. respectable Yang Bahagia Topuan Dato Seri Haja Dr. Aisha Ong, beloved Dean Prof. Zamri Razdi, Deputy Deans, Associate Deans, my colleagues, and dear students. Prof. Tilak has already elaborated a lot about the book, the salient features of the book, and the effort that has gone into making of this book. This idea was initially mooted in 2020, June 2020, and that was a time when we were in the midst of COVID. So we were all contemplating on things to fight COVID and how to move forward. And that was when this idea of the book and was brought forward. And Prof. Tilak was very clear in the idea that he wanted something where the young scholars, where the young academicians should contribute and bring the name of Faculty of Dentistry onto the world map. So that was his main idea. And I was invited to be the co-editor of the book. I contemplated a lot. I thought that this is going to be a challenge, but then I thought to myself, you only live once, why don't I take the challenge? And that's how I decided to take up this huge challenge. And what began as a very small idea soon grew into an enormous proportion, because this book caught the interest. This book project caught the interest of the publisher Springer. And when Springer came on board, we realized this is not a child's play. We really have to up our standards. And they're very, very stringent. Springer is a very stringent publisher, and we have to keep up the standards. So with 33 contributors from our faculty and 66 chapters, the task of the editors was not anything simple. And I can say that during the process, which started in 2020, which ended in the end of the year 2022, we have actually revised each of these chapters at least 5 times. That's between the contributors and the editors. We have gone forth and back, at least 5 times. Each of these 66 chapters have gone back to the contributors at least 5 times. And that's how tough a task that is. So that was the initial stage. Then when it went on to the publisher, then it started the second round of revisions and amendments. So finally, at the end of the day, I can say, I'm proud to stand here, such a grand function, and the fruits of our labor, hard work have finally been recognized. And on behalf of all the contributors, I would like to thank our respectable Pro-Chancellor to grace this occasion, and Prof. Zamri to make this event in a grand manner like this. We couldn't have asked for more. Thank you, everyone, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Tilakarni and Professor Dr. Thomas George, for the wonderful sharing just now.
Moving on, we would like to invite Yang Bursaha, Professor Dr. Tarikur Rahman, to introduce and share his book with the title Immunology for Dentistry. Please welcome Yang Bursaha, Professor Dr. Tarikur Rahman.
Yep, thank you. Thank you, Alia, Dr. Hamdi. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I'm a little bit nervous, actually. And there are a lot of things Prof. Tilak and Thomas mentioned about academic things, and I'm not good at it, not at all. Thank you, our Honorable Pro-Chancellor, Puan Dato Sri Haja Dr. Aisha Ong, to grace this celebration. Thank you, Yang Barusaha, Dr. Professor Zamri Razdi, Dean of our faculty. And my colleagues, students sitting in front of me, I am actually, speechless to express that how profound happiness I am feeling today with this book launching ceremony. I'm not going to talk about this book. All right, I'm not good in promoting myself. If you want to read that book, if you want to look at it, you have to buy it. If you buy it, I get some money, so I can pay back the effort that I made. Not only me, but all the contributors, all right, and also co-editors. I have 2 co-editors with me. One is from Leuven, Belgium, Catholic University Leuven, Wim Tegwils. And other one is Richard Lemon from University of Louisville. So three of us, we worked together. And we had a lot of contributors from our own faculty members and from outside Malaysia as well. So that made this book a special one for me and in my academic career. All right. Now, as I said that I'm not going to speak, academic way. Let me spend a few more minutes with you, with telling you my stories. To tell my stories, I want to ask you a few questions. Don't expect that only editors and the special guests will, speak. I want you to speak as well. Is that okay with you? No. Okay, someone says no. All right. I want to ask you three questions. And then I'll tell you three stories about books in my life. First question is that, how many of you bought a dentistry-related book for your own reading in last 1 year? A digital book, for example. 1, 2, digital book. Very few. How many of you bought printed book? All right, also very few. Third question, how many of you borrowed a book from a library related to dentistry in last 1 year? Even fewer, 1, 2, 3. You know, what does it tell me? That my effort is not going to be paid back. Now, I ask you this question, I think I should answer those three questions as well, otherwise it's not fair. I did not buy a single digital book in my life. Never. The last time I bought a printed book was 20 years ago. The last time I went to visit a library 8 years ago, Central Library, to donate few books written by my eldest brother. Not to borrow my book, not to borrow any book. So you can see the predicaments of writing book, reading book, the nature and the culture. On top of that, I'll add one more predicament. When I decided to write this book, then I invited, many contributors, including Prof. Zamri, Prof. Tilak. They wrote chapters for this book. And Prof. Tilak submitted his chapter. And from his submission date until the publication date was too long. It's more than 2 years. And in between, one day he came to me and he said, Tariq, when is this book going to be published? I said, I don't know, Prof. Publisher is taking a lot of time, long time. Then he said, some of those things we wrote in that chapter is obsolete because things have advanced, which is true, right? Now, if you look at it, we don't buy a book, we don't borrow a book, and the book that the contents that we have today, those are becoming obsolete. In few years' time, the book that I wrote today, we are celebrating today, in few years' time, is not going to be useful anymore. It's reality, all right? Now, why should we write a book then? What is the reason to write a book? Just to mark ourselves in the global map that we are academically excellent, that fulfill our KPI that we are doing, contributing in academia, in our profession? Is that the reason? I'll answer to that question, an answer which is not convincing even for myself, but still I'm going to share that answer to you. Before that, allow me to share another 3 stories. When I was a first-year student, which was in 1989, student of microbiology. And that year, our teachers were teaching, introduction to microbiology, food microbiology, and so on, different kind of microbiology books. So one day, I decided that I'm going to buy one book on introduction to microbiology. And I'm going to read from page 1 until page 786, A to Z, every single page, no matter whether it is included in the syllabus or not. So I decided to do that. Every day I read 1 page. If I missed one day, I cover it up in the next day. I read 2 pages or 3 pages next day. So this is how, in 1 year, I read most of the chapters of that book. Although I did not understand many of those things because I was just a first year student, but I continued reading that. This is story number 1. Then story number 2 is that when we become third year student, then we had a course on immunology. And I loved that course, immunology, all my life. I'll tell you another story about my loving immunology. So our lecturer were giving, teaching us immunology. Then I bought a book on immunology. That book was written by Ivan Roet. I'm not sure whether you know him. Ivan Roet is a very famous immunologist in the world, very famous. So I bought his book. And then I made an appointment with my lecturer to discuss something about the immunological things that he was giving lecture I did not understand. So I took my new book with me. And then I went to see my lecturer. And I was trying to show him that I bought this book. The amount of money I spent to buy that book was equivalent to more than 1 month of expenses for my living during those days. So I was very happy to buy that book, and I wanted to show it. But during the discussion, my lecturer did not say a single word about that book. He even did not look at it because it's nothing for him. So I, finished my discussion and I came out from the room. And I was very disappointed that even my lecturer did not look at my book. So I hold that book on my chest and said, I love you. And I walked back to my dormitory and I continued reading immunology. This is the second story. I'll tell you the third story. Am I taking too long?
No, Prof.
All right. Third story is when I came back after my PhD in 2001, then I thought that I'm going to write a book of immunology in Bangla language. I'm from Bangladesh. The reason is that I thought immunology is a very important subject, very important subject. If you know your immune system, if you know your immune strength, that you know how you can live stronger. You don't have to depend on unnecessary excessive use of medicines for that. So you just have to boost up your immune system by your healthy living. So I thought this message should be shared with the common people. And the way we can do it is that we write the book in a language, in a native language. So I started writing that immunology book in Bangla. Then I struggled because there are a lot of diagrams in immunology. I cannot draw those diagrams. During those days, the software to draw diagrams were not very easily available. So what I did is that I wrote an email to Ivan Roet, the person I admire all my life as an immunologist. I wrote an email to him and I asked him, can I copy your scan the pictures from your book and put it on my Bangla book? And surprising, to my utter surprise actually, he replied to me second day, I think, and he said, yes, Tariq, go ahead. This is how I started writing it. But eventually, I must say that I failed to complete that book. I could not complete it because I moved away from Bangladesh. I went somewhere else, and eventually I'm now stuck here in Malaysia. No, I'm not stuck in a right way, in a good way. All right. So these are the 3 stories. What are the take-home message from these 3 stories? I'm not going to tell you that. It's you who will decide how you are going to perceive these 3 stories. The 3 stories, one story is that I read every single page of an introduction book. Doesn't matter whether it was in the syllabus. Second story is that I loved my book, that I put it on my chest and I said, I love you. And third one is that I attempted to write a book in my own language, despite the fact that I did not have enough tools for it. So these are the 3 stories. So you decide what kind of lessons that you want to take from these 3 stories. It's up to you. If you have listened to it, if you're not tired of or bored about it. Now, do you want to know the answer of those questions, that why I write a book or no? Okay. You see, this book is going to be obsolete. That's the reality, right? The first book on oral immunology was written in 1981, and the second book is in 2022. This is the second oral immunology book in the whole world. there is no other book. So immunology is progressing, and immunology is go forward, move forward. And people 10 years down the line, they are going to forget about what we have written here. But if we are not writing here today, the moving forward for tomorrow is not going to happen. We cannot move forward. Even our footsteps today are forgotten tomorrow, but that footsteps we are making today is very important. So knowledge is evolving. The purpose, the reason I'm writing this book, or I wrote this book, or I'm doing my academic work, research and everything, is not because I want to become an excellent person in academia. It's not because I want to put my name in the Hall of Fame. It's because I want to put steps in the evolution of knowledge. Do you want to? If you want to join that evolutionary process of knowledge, you also have to think to write a book. If not today, tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for listening to me.
Thank you for sharing your stories with us, Professor Dr. Tariq. They were very inspiring.
Next, we would like to invite Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan Datuk Sri Hajah Dr. Aisyah Ong, Pro-Chancellor, Universiti Malaya, to give her speech and hence officiate today's ceremony. Please welcome Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan Datuk Sri Hajah Dr. Aisyah Ong on stage.
Terima kasih Tuan-Puan Pengerusi Majlis. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Professor Dr. Zamri Radzi, Dean of the Faculty of Dentistry, University of Malaya, Deputy Deans, Heads of Departments, and Professor Tariq. Thank you very much. That was a very nice talk. Thank you. And distinguished guests. We are grateful for the presence. Kita bersyukur kehadrat Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala kerana dengan limpah izinnya dapat kita bersama-sama. In bahasa English, it is, we are grateful for the presence of Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala because with His grace, this book launch ceremony can be held in conjunction with the 2023 Academia Day celebration at the Faculty of Dentistry in the University of Malaya. Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to celebrate a scientific achievement, that is, the production of a manuscript of the latest academic book that will make an important contribution to the world of knowledge. Writing a book is a very valuable effort in enriching the culture, knowledge, and intellectual treasures of our society. Therefore, let us all take the first step in our efforts to create a more informed society. Academic books play a very important role in the learning and research process. It becomes the foundation of knowledge, helps us in understanding, and provides guidance to future generations in different fields. Today, we celebrate books that represent the results of the efforts of writers, researchers, and experts who have devoted themselves to the creation of knowledge. I would like to congratulate all the authors and contributors involved in the creation of the academic book. Your efforts have given birth to a very valuable book, which will become a major reference in related fields. I would also like to thank the publisher and all the individuals who have supported the publishing process of this book. Ladies and gentlemen, in this ever-evolving world, academic books play an important role in updating our knowledge. They reflect the latest discoveries, critical thinking, and in-depth research. So let us continue to support writers and researchers who continue to work to expand our academic field. I would also like to encourage all attendees to read these academic books, make them the main source of reference in research and learning, and share the knowledge gained from them. May these books continue to inspire future generations to seek knowledge and live more meaningful lives. Book writing plays an important role in spreading information, preserving history, and inspiring future generations. Through books, we can share experiences, knowledge, and stories that have the power to change a person's life. Therefore, it is important for us to cultivate the activity of writing books in our society. In addition, let us encourage the younger generation to read and write. They are our future. You young people are our future. And the writing of books can open the door to a vast world of knowledge. We can build libraries, provide literacy programs, and support young writers to help shape the future of book writing. Finally, thank you to everyone who are here today, and congratulations again to all those involved in the launch of this academic book. May these books be a valuable source of knowledge in our journey in search of truth and greater scientific achievement. With these, I say thank you so much for coming. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Yang Amat Berbahagia Puan. We would like to ask Yang Amat Berbahagia Puan to kindly remain on stage. Now, we would like to invite our Dean, Professor Dr. Zamri bin Radzi, Professor Dr. W.M. Tilakaratne, Professor Dr. Tarikur Rahman, Professor Dr. Thomas George to join Yang Amat Berbahagia Puan on stage to mark the officiation of.
And as a symbol of officiation, we would like to invite Yang Amat Berhormat Puan to cut the ribbon and sign the poster prepared.
Four, three, two, one.
Thank you to our honorable guest. Please kindly remain on stage for our next agenda. Now, we would like to invite Yang Bursaha, Professor Dr. W.M. Tilakaratne, and Professor Dr. Thomas George to present their newly published books to Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan to be given to. Firstly, Dr. Zakia Ahmad Ripin, representative of Oral and Maxillofacial Clinical Sciences Department. Next, Associate Professor Dr. Zuraiza Mohammed Zaini, representative of Oral Medicine and Oral Pathology Department. And to our Dean, Professor Dr. Zamri bin Radzi, as the representative of our Faculty of Dentistry Library. We will also like to invite Professor Dr. Tarikur Rahman to present his book to Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan to be given to our Dean, Professor Dr. Zamri bin Radzi once again as a representative of our Faculty of Dentistry Library.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have our special guest with us today. To appreciate her time and presence, we would now like to invite our beloved Dean, Professor Dr. Zamri bin Razi, to present a token of appreciation to Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan Datuk Sri Hajah Dr. Aisyah Ong. And to our honorable guests, please gather at the center of the stage for a photography session. Thank you, Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan, our beloved Dean and our dear Professor. You may now take your seat.
With that, we have almost come to the end of today's ceremony. Thus, we would like everyone to rise for the singing of our faculty's anthem, Pergigian University Malaya. Everyone, please rise.
Di Universiti Malaya, di sini ada cahaya bersinar dan terus megah. Perpikiran semakan hidupku, ilmu dan juga hikmatku, semarak jiwa berkobar, melangkah terus mencabar. Majulah fakulti ini, kibarkanlah bendera, bangkitkan semangat jati untuk bangsa dan negara. angkasa raya. Majulah waktu ini, kibarkanlah bendera, bangkitkan semangat jati untuk bangsa dan negara. Pendidikan di hatiku berjaya terus berjaya, fakulti terbilang dan maju, terbang ke angkasa raya.
Next, we will have a photography session. Hence, to our honorable guests, please kindly take your seat. But for the rest of the audience, we would like to invite you all together at the center of the hall for a photography session. Projector tutup. Projector center tutup. MC masuk ke?